Today on r/Entitled Parents, a mom who tried to ruin her daughter's marriage and another who ditched her kids at a restaurant. First up, the mom drama. I live in the US and hadn't seen my mom or 15-year-old brother in 1 year. They live in Brazil, and I wanted to give them a special experience. So I paid for everything, including 2 international business class tickets, as we used to do once a year, to make them feel comfortable and loved. Also, in her case, health-wise. I had planned this trip with care, especially hoping to reconnect with my brother. But from the moment they arrived, my mom was cold, critical, and manipulative in 2 days. She made passive-aggressive remarks like, "You could have married better," and mocked the fact that I cook and care for my home, even though she lives in Brazil with maids and a driver, supported largely by my help. Then things escalated. During a weekend trip, she messaged my husband privately saying she wanted to speak to him alone. He immediately showed me and told me he wouldn't entertain that. But the next morning, while I was upstairs, she cornered him at the hotel anyway. He texted me while it was happening because he didn't want this drama or to entertain this type of behavior, clearly uncomfortable. When I came down for breakfast, he told her directly, "Anything you want to say should be said to both of us." But in that private moment, she had already tried. She brought up personal things I did over 6 years ago, trying to throw dirt and stir doubt in our marriage. What she didn't expect was that my husband already knew everything. And he asked her, calmly and clearly, "I know all of this. What exactly is your goal in bringing this up?" She started to cry, and he was all over meetings and asked us to leave the table at breakfast, which I think was okay. I tried to ask why she would do that, in the room later. By the way, for context, we went to a place in Big Sur for a weekend, and she ruined it. She stayed in the room and tried to burn my relationship with my own husband. After we arrived home, when she figured she wouldn't manipulate my husband and they clashed personalities, she locked herself in the room for a week. Why would a mother try to sabotage her daughter's relationship with the man who is my partner, husband, and with whom I am happy? After that, she played the victim, and slowly she turned my brother against me, the boy I loved like my son. But after being so mistreated, I'm feeling angry. The one I wanted to reconnect with now barely looks at me, barely speaks. He stays in the room with her. I feel erased in my own home. We have 2 days left. I'm emotionally drained. I gave them everything: comfort, love, respect, and I'm walking away with silence, manipulation, and heartbreak. What would you do after something like this? How do you recover when your own mother tries to burn down the life you built and takes your brother with her? And why?
Wow. I thought I'd seen nerve before, but this is next-level betrayal. If someone invites you into their home, pays for your trip, and tries to reconnect, the last thing you do is corner their spouse and try to blow up their marriage. Honestly, I don't blame you for being hurt. Most people would have snapped right there. But you stayed calm and didn't let her get to you. And about your brother, yeah, it stings. But kids catch on eventually. One day he's going to see it for what it was. I just can't wrap my head around why your mom would even do this. What's the end game? It almost doesn't make sense. You give her love and comfort, and she tries to tear you down in return. That says more about her than it does about you. Sometimes the hardest truth is realizing not every parent actually wants what's best for you. And speaking of parents making a scene, wait until you hear about the mom who left her kids at a restaurant. Hi, so this happened about 6 years ago, back in 2019. I, female, was 24 years old at the time, still living in New Jersey, having just finished college and working as a shift manager at a fast food restaurant, which I will not name, while also doing my tattoo apprenticeship. One day, one of the cashiers, who I will call Jane, came up to me and asked for help, as there was a situation at the counter she didn't really know how to deal with. At the counter was this man and his son, and behind him was this woman with 2 younger kids. The man explained that he is the father of his 10-year-old son, and the woman behind him is his ex, who is the mother of his son. He is not the father of her 2 other kids. He had custody of his son that day, so he was taking him out for lunch and to visit a museum, but the baby mama and her 2 other kids, as he called her, just so happened to also show up at the restaurant at the same time he pulled up. She was demanding that he also treat her two other kids to lunch and take them to the museum as well. The man said he is responsible for his son and his son only. His ex then tried to argue that she didn't want her kids to be left out while her oldest got special treatment, and that their dads were not in the picture. She wanted the man to pay for the lunches of her two other kids as well. I told Jane I'd take it from here. The man told me he would order 2 Baconator combos for himself and his son. As I was taking his order, the woman tried shouting the order for her two other kids. The man and his ex started arguing again. Then the man turned to me, adamantly stating he would only pay for his order and that of his son, and he would pay in cash. The woman started shouting at me to add her order to his as well. I told the woman she would need to wait her turn. The man paid for his order and waited. The woman then came up to me, gave me her order and that of her kids. But when I told her the price of her 5 combos for herself and her 2 kids, she asked, "Didn't Booker already pay for it?" referring to her ex. I told her his order was only for himself and his son, and that her order was separate from his. Also, I had only taken her order after the man had paid, so yeah. The woman started screaming about how hard it is for her to be a single mom, that she didn't have the money to pay, and pointed to the man again, saying he should have paid for her order because he's single, has a full-time job, and lives by himself. The man shouted back, reiterating that her 2 other kids are not his responsibility. I told the woman I sympathized with her, and I genuinely do, but I couldn't just add her order to that of another customer who had already paid and specifically said he would only pay for his order. I then asked if she was still paying for her order or if I should cancel it. She then tried to grab his wallet, demanding he give her his credit card, but he pushed her off. Then she left, telling the man to take her 2 other kids with him to the museum. Yes, she legit just left her kids with him. At this point, I didn't really know what else to do, but the man told me he would like to buy some fries and chili for her 2 other kids and that he'd drop them off at his ex's place himself. I told him not to bother paying for the extra fries, they were on the house, and I just added extra fries to his existing order.
Oh boy, this one had me shaking my head from start to finish. Imagine showing up at the same fast food joint as your ex, and instead of just saying hi, you demand he pay for all your kids' meals and take them to the museum? The entitlement is unreal. And when that didn't work, she just left the kids there like he was free babysitting with a side of fries. I give the dad credit. He handled it better than most would have, and honestly, you were a champ for stepping in and keeping things fair at the counter. But I've got to be honest, I don't think this was a coincidence. I suspect she didn't just happen to run into him. Either she was following him, or she planned it out because she had something else to do and didn't want to deal with her kids. Poor kids. They didn't deserve that. I just hope they're doing okay now. So tell me, which mom takes the crown here? The one who tried to wreck her daughter's marriage, or the one who walked out and left her kids at a restaurant? That's a wrap on today's r/EntitledParents drama, because apparently raising kids comes with a side of delusion. If that had you cringing or cackling, give this video a big ol' thumbs up. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I know you've got something to say about these wild families. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's your chance. Smash that button, ring the bell, and I'll see you in the next one where the entitlement only gets louder. Bye!